Raoul, welcome to Chile.
Thank you. First time in South America, first time in Chile. Thank you. I'm really happy, and one first thing, I love to give keynotes, because I think that the keynote is the booster of the conference. And then there is another thing before I begin I want to tell you. All the times the keynote, they should give a path, a vision also to the other presentation and talks of the other speakers. We didn't plan anything. I mean, you called me, you asked me for a talk, for a title, I gave it. And then I begin to saw the agenda, and it's incredible because this keynote will really match with all of the other talks and speakers. So anything was planned, but like in the real hacking way, it just worked out. So, I will speak to you about a very intriguing topic for the companies and for the digital underground. Peering in the soul of hackers. This was such a sexy title, to peer into the souls of the hackers. HPP, Hackers Profiling Project, release 2.0, reloaded. So in the title we can see a lot of things. Hackers have a soul, I think. There is a project about hackers profiling. Yes, there is. And 2.0, reloaded. So there must have been a version, a first release, a 1.0. Agenda. Who is who I am in a short time. Where I work at, I'm not here to endorse, but I think it's important for you to know what I do every day, because I don't have a single hat, I got a lot of hats. HPP, the first release, we started in 2004 and we finished it in 2011. I will explain you why, I will explain you everything, all the details. HPP 2.0. From 2011, so we started September of the last year, the release 2.0, and we'll go up until 2015. Conclusions and the question and answers, because I hope really that you will have a lot of things to ask me. I have a mandatory disclaimer that you will understand from the next slide. It's not mandatory that everything I'm going to tell you as an author and a speaker will reflect the vision of Unicre, ENISA, and the PSG, or of the companies and security communities I work at or I support. If you have no idea what Unicre is, don't worry, it's normal, but I will explain you, as well for ENISA and the PSG. So all the time it's kind of embarrassing because I have a lot of logos that I stick on the t-shirts and stickers and so on and so on. There is no time, and I think it's out of topic, to explain you everything I'm doing, the communities I belong to, but one, Unicre. Unicre is the United Nations Interregional Crime and Justice Research Institute. But I will go into the details in a few slides on it. I set up one specific slide for Unicre. Another one that I would like to point out is ISACOM. ISACOM is the Institute for Security and Open Methodologies. We are the guys who wrote the OSDEM, OSSTMM, so it's a worldwide methodology in order to run a professional pen test. Why am I mentioning you these two entities? Because they've been the first one, when I started back HPP, Hackers Profiling Project, back in 2003, to believe in my job, to believe in me, and to tell me, okay, continue, we will give you our brands, our support, our community. And you should know that when you have on your back the UN flag, it helps a lot to open the doors. I just established a new company, so I would like to spend one word or a couple on it. I don't go into the details because, again, it's out of topic. I prefer to focus on the talk, on the HPP, and you will have the time to read everything on the slides that I will be available online. But I would like to tell you what is SB, because it's a company, yeah, but it's more a think tank, a security think tank. Our goal was to put together, I started back in 1986. It's a long time, even if I look younger, I'm not. It's more than 20 years. I met people from all around the world, and I will explain you why I travel so much all around the world. And the concept of SB, the security brokers, actually is to put together all the trust that the people have each other. So it's not about a bunch of companies together, it's the personal trust and relationship between people that knows each other since such a long time. If I would put on a pile all the contacts I have all around the world, and the same by the other people, that we are more than 30 global experts all around the world, we know like half of the world. So we have thought, why should we keep on to make like this to the big four or to the big players? If actually it's us that we have the knowledge, it's better to attack them and to sell security in another way. The last reason why we started as B is very easy. We really think that actual ICT security doesn't work. It's broken. So we have to really switch our approach to ICT security and to do things in another way. If you would like to know what we do, I stood over there in black bullets. One thing, I got no idea of the audience I have here, so please, my friends, organizer, do stop me or do me a signal if I'm going to sell something bad. But one thing we do, because I'm mentioning, because tomorrow I've been asked to give an extra presentation on cyberwar and infowar. We are the guys that deals with infowar and cyberwar and information superiority, who actually is a new way again to see everything. But we do it only for MOD, Ministry of Defenses, all around the world, in the whitelist. Full stop. So, IFCON actually is another hat I wear. We are the guys that deals with cybercrime so much every day. I think that you may have heard about this guy. He's a gentleman from UK. He's a British guy. He's so British. From Brighton. And actually, he was the guy who has been able, the first in the world, to investigate on RBN, the bad guys from Russia, a Russian business network. And I have a story to tell you. But I have to ask also to Fabienne, is the recording to be put online, or it's only for here? Okay. I tell you something. I met this guy in Estonia, in Tallinn, for Oktoberfest, a cool event that you may be aware about, because it's not a standard conference. You enter there, and you take some beer or strong alcohol or tequila, and that is a grill to grill the meat. And then they ask you, it's okay for you to speak about something? And you say yes, and they build the agenda on the fly from scratch. So I met over there Jart Armin, and that was a long time ago, in 2007. We worked together. He's my partner, he's my principal. After 3 years, I realized that his real name is not Jart Armin. It's an alias. But here is coming the interesting story that, I'm sorry, is not so happy, because, as I told you, he deals with cybercrime. I don't know if you got an idea of the invoicing, of the turnover of cybercrime. We are speaking about something that is close to $12 billion a year, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. So we're speaking about RBM, the guys from Ukraine, all the pharma frauds, and so on. So one day, after 3 years, me and Jart, we had the time to take a beer together, and then I offered him more and more. And he was kind of drunk, and he told me, you know, Raoul, now we are beginning partners. After 3 years that I checked you, and you gained my trust, I have to tell you my name is not Jart. I will not tell you his real name, I know it. But this is a serious story. I told you he was the guy that investigated as the first one in the world on RBN. If you go back on the internet to look for his papers, RBN exploit, RBN exposed in 2005 and 6 and 7. He was with a colleague. They've been able to identify the kingpins, the men at the top of RBN, the guys, the mafia guys from Russia that deals of all of the business. That was no good for those Russian guys. And those Russian guys killed the daughter of the colleague of Jart. Kill it. And then they call Jart and the colleague and say, you have other daughters and son. Do you want them to be killed as well? Or you stop investigating about us? The colleague stopped it. Now he's doing another job. I can understand him, because when they touch your family, Jart, he decided to switch to a new name. He's got good contacts with governments in the world, let's say. He's got a new passport, a new identity, and he's keeping on to kick the ass to the cybercrime all over the world. So a big respect and kudos to Jart. Uniquely. Now you may understand why I told you at the beginning that when you have a UN flag that covers your back, it can help out. UNICRI actually is among the smallest agency of UN all over the world. We are 80 people, as in my hometown in Turin, Italy. What we do trainings on the legal aspects of cyber things, cybercrime, SCADA, and HPP. What we are an entity that allows you to get in contact with cool entities and contacts and to work each other's all around the world. Obviously, is a UN agency, so we do also the paperwork that it's kind of boring, especially to me that I'm a technical background, but it helps out because somebody has to do it. This is our office, the building, and we are into the campus of UN in Turin. So the campus is so interesting because all the UN employees from all over the world, especially the manager, they must go at the campus in order to be trained for some months, and then go back at their UN agencies all around the world. HPP 10. What the hell it is? We started in 2004. You can get all the details over there, online. Since 2004, we have been able to receive questionnaire, but again, I have to explain you this. But more than 1,200 answers, deep answers into the details from hackers from all over the world. Why we started this? Because I was really tired, bored to read. I mean, every time you open a newspaper all over the world, in any countries of the world, you will read hackers attacked something, a target. But there is always the word hacker, no matter if it's about a denial of service, a DDoS, a stupid lame attack, or somebody who has been so idiot to connect on the Wi-Fi in clear text. I mean, from the biggest attack, the really skilled one, to the lamest one, for the media, all the time is hackers. And I think that it's really wrong to generalize. I don't think that hacker is a bad word at all. It became a bad word in the 90s because of the media. But again, I feel a hacker, an ethical hacker. I don't have any shame. I don't have anything to hide. I do everything in clear way. I'm a man. I don't hide anything. So I think that we had the need to focus more and understand, is there really just one type of hacker, one profile of hacker, or there are more? When we started back in 2004, I started to ask to my friends or colleagues at UN, at ENISA, and so on, what do you think a hacker is? And do you know the answer? Into their mind, the hacker is always a fat guy. Okay, I'm not slim, but I'm not so fat. Glasses, because he's not able to read anything. Actually, I have contact lens on mine, but I also have glasses. Dirty and smelling bad. I take a shower this morning, and I do every day, even a couple of times a day. And they are asocial. They are not able to speak about anything but IT gears and hacking and exploits. That's partially true. But I know hackers that has got a social life. I know hackers who has got a girlfriend. More than one, actually. I know hackers that they don't spend all of the day on YouPorn and securityfocus.com. I swear you. So, to make it in a nutshell, we have been able to spot at least 9 hackers' profile. Each one of them has got a profile, a reason why they do it. They attack on specific entities and targets, and there is always a reason. We try to zoom in if they were attacking alone or in a group, and why. We have also been able to publish a book in Italian, Profilo Hacker, and here it comes a small thing I'm really proud. As Italian, but it could have been as from Chile. We published this book, and I'm a good friend to a famous hacker, Kevin Mitnick. And a long time ago, when he was sleeping at my place, on my house, on the couch, after a beer and something else, he told me, you know, Raoul, in US we invented 2 things, cowboys and hackers. It's true, the US invented the hackers. The hacking machine, it started basically in US, but I think also in Europe because of the CCC, the Chaos Computer Club. So, being Italian, one day I received a call from an important publisher, these guys from CRC Press and Taylor and Francis Group. And they told me, you know what, we would like to import your book in the United States and to publish in English. So, hey, are we selling from Italy the hacking to the United States? Yes, we did. Another thing that's interesting, the title of the book is The Science of Criminal Profiling as Applied to the World of Hacking, because again, originally the idea was, if you watch on TV, CSI and CIS, they open bodies in order to find evidences. Actually, in the digital forensics, what we do is to analyze hard drives and networks in order to find evidences. But what we wanted to do was to understand if it was possible. It became as a dream. After I got the results and evidence from a forensics expert, and I got everything, would it be possible, thanks to the techniques used in the attack, the skills, the way they write command on the shells, to realize who is the attacker? Is a script kiddie? Is a young kid? Is a stupid? Is a lamer? Is a cool guy? Is a guy from Eastern Europe because they just think in another way? Is a hacker with a background from BSD and Berkeley or other things? Who is the attacker? Who is the guy? So we wanted to apply the profiling as we see on TV to the hacking environment. So once again, I'm so proud because we have not only been able to sell to the United States the hacking back again, but also the criminal profiling, who actually was invented in Cantico at the FBI. And one day I received an email from FBI, and I was thinking, oh, that's a phishing or it's a joke from a friend of mine. No, he was the head of the profiling the profiling department at FBI, and he told me, I got your book on my desk, I'm reading it, it's really cool. I say, we did something cool, because, come on, this doesn't happen every day. So, which were our purpose? I have to tell you, because I love to be frank all the time. We haven't been the first guys in the world to think about profiling hackers. You can name it profiling hackers or having a background, but the goal is trying to understand who, why, when, etc., etc. So we started to research around, and we spotted a couple of research in the world about hackers. One was headed by a police department. So, do you really think that when cops, they try to interview hackers would be so happy to answer to the cops? No. Another one was actually, you can still find on securityfocus.com, is an excellent security researcher, a professor from the University of Charlotte in North Carolina, Thomas Holt, I think is the name, that if you browse around a long time ago, he put a message on the list asking for hackers that were okay to be interviewed, and he would pay back $10 each interview. I think that all the time that the money is involved, some bad things happen. It's wrong, and it's not the correct approach, because me as an hacker, I would not care about that $10 at all. I'm sorry. I can buy a burger at McDonald's and that's it. And it's kind of offensive if you offer me some money. So I just think that his idea was correct, but he took the wrong approach. A last comment I have to tell you, all of the few researchers about hackers in the world, they only analyze the geeks aspect. So they don't consider either at all the social aspects of hacking, the legal aspects, and the economical impact of hacking. So we decided to put it all together with an approach that was from a technical approach and a criminological approach, because I mentioned you am an ethical hacker. I don't do anything illegal as well. But other people, they may do illegal actions, and the concept of illegal or legal, it depends on the country. I will mention again JART. 3 years ago, we were helping Interpol with a children abuse investigation that from US through Europe brought us to Ukraine, a small country in the Eastern Europe. We got the evidences of adults abusing kids and children online and in real life in order to record the movies and to sell it on the black market of those son of a bitch. In Ukraine, it's not a crime if you possess a picture exposed of a baby or children. It's not a crime. It's a crime if you sell it. So again, the concept of illegal or not, it depends on the country. It depends on the environment. It depends on the actions. Again, all the research we spot around before to start HPP, we noticed that for the researchers, they had a preconcept in their mind. Hackers were bad people, mandatory by default, who actually is wrong. So we wanted to understand why people is hacking, what they hack, which are the actors involved, but who and not how. Because you may tell me, Raoul, if you want to understand the how, there is an excellent project in a long time who is the Honenet project by Lance Spitzer. Actually, they investigate how people hack. We don't care that much about the how, is a second step, but who. And we felt that there was a hole, something icing around. Everybody were trying to understand how hackers are able to hack, but no one, why, and who. We want to observe the criminal actions, the real ones, on the field, because again, do hackers are criminals all the time? Yes and no, it depends. The action that up to you is criminal, to me is normal. A port scan in EU is legal. But if after the port scan you abuse of the open port, then it's a crime. In other countries of the world, even the port scan is illegal. So again, we wanted to zoom more into this. Also because I have to tell you, I don't know if we have any lawyers in the audience, but all the time that hackers and security experts, we speak to lawyers, it's a lot of fun. Because we have our ideas and they have another view, which I respect, but all over the world there is a big lack of laws and the directives. All the time we speak about info security and hacking. As I told you at the beginning, we started like in CSI, and the rule of criminal profiling is the 4W. Who, where, when, and why. So again, you will not see how here. How is, of course, we analyze it, but it isn't the focus of our research. And then, at the end, we wanted to acquire and disseminate the knowledge, because I will tell you again at the end of this talk, but everything I'm telling you is free, is open source, is for the community, is for everybody who wants. And this is the only project in the UN agencies of all over the world who has a budget since 2004 equal to 0. The budget is me and my team, Friday evenings, weekends, and free time. That actually, I don't know the meaning of the word free time, but we are able to find some free time. Why? Because we believe in the research we are doing. And again, because when you receive an email from FBI, Quantico, Virginia, wow, that's priceless. It's like a MasterCard. So what we do, we say, hey guys, we have to be, let's be serious, even if we are hackers, and let's try to get a project outlet. Actually, the research team was not only by hackers. We had hackers, some ecological researchers, experts in the social aspects, in laws, and lawyers, even lawyers, it has on board. So, first one, we had a theoretical collection, the questionnaires I told you, who has been received from all over the world. And again, here's is strange, it's weird, because all the research you can see around, the questionnaire is the last phase of the research. For us, it has been the beginning. Why? Because we cannot believe, we cannot expect that hackers of all the flavors I will tell you would tell us all the truth. So to us, it was like an assessment, a first assessment in order to understand more and to have a base in order to work on. Phase 2, be there, be on field. So that's the reason why I travel all over the world at hacking events, IT events, IT underground events, all over the world from Russia to Asia, Australia, and Europe. Because we wanted to meet with them. We wanted actually to see how they behave in real life, and if all of the cliches on hackers were true or wrong. I knew it already, but a part of my team was more like, come on, it's like in Hollywood and the movies, they're ugly and fat and smell bad and so on. No, they've been able to understand who is not in this way. On phase 3, we actually imported everything we collected from phase 1 and phase 2 also, and we tried to have a first match in order to understand if the profile we were writing and building, they used to be the correct one. On phase 4, we will, because from phase 4 to 8, we are still ongoing, we want to collect incidents and attacks from honeymooners, but from the existing one, because I don't see the reason to build a wheel if it exists already. So we will speak to Langs and to all the community that I run honeypots, honeynets all around the world. But again, the goal they have is to see how the guys attack. For us is, again, who and why. So we really try to analyze things in a different way. On phase 5, we will run a gap analysis in order to understand if everything we have been able to collect works, is right or is wrong, any mistakes. On 6, I'll have assessment in order to understand once again if the profiles and the modus operandi we have been able to identify the work. 7 is the fine tuning, and 8, as I mentioned you before, elaborate the results to publish a methodology. Who would love any industry, any banks, any government applying the methodology to understand, to get the result of who attacked them and why and how and so on, and to raise awareness. But everything I told you, it doesn't exist. What I mean, we stopped at phase 3 because we were out of budget, but most of all because we realized that we made a mistake, or either to say that some elements were entering a game, some new actors. So I'll tell you in a while. I mentioned you before the questionnaire. So one point is that everything we've asked allows them to answer in an anonymous way. We don't log the IP address. We don't ask for or the nickname or handle. We don't have cookies, anything like that. And I will also explain you why. On module A, we try to get from the people who decided to believe us, to trust us, and to answer us, something in order to get an idea of who are you as a human being. Are you a male or a girl? Age, the context you grow up in family and education, because another of the cliche about hackers is that they grow up in family who has got a lot of problems. The father is a killer, he's a smuggler, he's an employee. Or on the other end, they came from extremely rich families. So we wanted to understand and to get the real results. Module B, that's so interesting, is how do they relate with the outside world. So, which is the relationship that hackers have with authorities at school, the teachers and professors, the employers at job, friends and colleagues, and with other hackers. And it's actually has been the most funny part, reading all the answers. Module C is the technical part, and I'm on the logical part. So we asked them the kind of targets they use to attack, and the techniques and tools they use, and why they do it. If they believe there is a ethics in hacking, and why and how. If they have the perception that they are doing actions that are illegal, if they commit some crime, and so on and so on. We received more than 1,200, that's a bunch of answers, because in order to fill up the questionnaire, it takes like a couple of hours. So it's not a point and click thing. They have to answer, to write, to type down to us, and to open a kind of their soul to us. So we have a full release. It actually took 3 hours to fill in. A compact release, 1 hour, and the standard for 2 hours. So again, I do think that if more than 1,002 people and 200, and the grand total is 2,000 and more, 2,500, let's say, or people in the world, I don't care if they are hackers, black hats, or white hats, whatever. It's people, it's human being. Took from 1 hour to 3 hours of their time to answer us. Wow, thank you. Thank you. And this is one of the key aspects to understand from the hacking community. If you give something to the community, they will give you back as well something. It worked out. But I told you that everything is anonymous. Do you know why? I was giving this a presentation about HPP in a conference in Malaysia back in 2005 or 6. It's online. We were, after 2 years of HPP, we already had our answers. The questionnaire was actually online in a MySQL database. We know how to code, so everything was secure. And after my talk, I've been approached by some men in black. Do you know those people that you can spot from there that it's a government agent? And their business card is always something like Center for the Development of something. But the area code is Virginia. And they asked me, well, Raoul, that's so cool. You have been the only one in the world to be able to get a database about hackers. Did they answer you also from the Middle East and Far East? Yeah, sure. Did they answer you from this country, ABCD? It's not hard to have the idea of the countries that I were interested in. Yes, sir. So, oh, can we have the database? Well, sorry, no, it's a respect for the community. Okay, we pay for it. Say, no, sorry, I'm sorry, we don't sell it, first of all, because it's a research that is still ongoing. Point 2, because we promised to all the people who gave us trust that we will never sell or disclose the data, because imagine if you go to a psychology or to your analyst, and you tell him or her personal things, and then she or he sells everything online. No, it's our stuff. And point 3, I don't want your money. So after 10 days, but I think it's just a coincidence, someone tried to hack us in order to steal the database. So from that day, we decided, okay, we don't keep any more the logs. We will be like an anonymous remailer type 2. No logs, no anything. We want to protect the people who gave us the trust. So, what we try to evaluate and correlate from all of those answers, because imagine that every questionnaire answered has got more than 100 answers, and they correlate each other. So we tried to understand the MO, the modus operandi, how you do it. If you hack alone or as a member of a group. You know why? I will show you in the tables, in the resume table that we resume everything I'm telling you. But if you hack alone, we got two options. You are a script kid, you don't have enough skills and knowledge, and you are so young, a teenager, and hacking together in your bedroom, having a cola or anything else. It's just fun, you know? Or if you are in a group. Or you are a really elite team of mercenaries where everybody has got a specific skill. It's not a hobby, it's a job, it's a black job. So you are paid a bunch of money in order to attack a target, and you must have a specialized team. On the other hand, if you hack alone, it can mean that your skills are really high and you know kind of everything, or you are so paranoid that you trust no one. So why I'm telling you all of these things? Because I personally met in the last 10 years I spent around the world as a Trump, a lot of these profiles and characters, and they really exist, and it match. Motivation. Why should a teenager risk to be jailed for 2 years or 3 or 5 just in order to get a password from the girlfriend at school? Because he's a teenager. Yeah, okay, but if so, why should an adult risk to be jailed in some countries because of hacking or in also espionage? So we wanted to understand why the hell you do it. Select targets. Who are you hacking to? Because again, one thing is a teenager, as an example, or a script kiddie that hacks into his school or high school and change his course. It happens. It happened. It will happen. Another thing is somebody that wants to target Iran and do something. Or another thing is somebody who targets on a bank, on a government, or on a military as a target. So it was important for us to evaluate and correlate all of this. In fact, the relationship between why you do it and who are you hacking to. It was hilarious to understand, but also so instructive from a point of view. Hacking career. Is there a hacking career? Well, actually, I began as a hacker in '86. Let's say that somebody, they knock at my door at 6 a.m. in the morning in '85, and I decided, what I should do, because I'm good in these things, is my passion, is my love. But then, it was in '85 on December, on '96 I went online and I realized on securityfocus.com a word, pen test. So I say, is this real that there is an industry that is paying me in order to do the same things I used to do, risking jail? Yes, but you have to learn ethics because pen test is not hacking. Hacking isn't pen test. So I had to learn the rules and other things. But so, as me, I can think about Kevin, Nick and Poulsen, all the people I know. They had a hacking career, an evolution of themselves. And I think it's correct because if when you are 40 years old, you keep on to do the things that you used to do as a teenager, you are a stupid man. So it's important also to grow up as a man, as a human being. The principles of hacker ethics. When I try to explain this in my team at the lawyers, they told me, hackers has got ethics, Raoul? Yes, we have. And it depends again on the profile of the hacker, on his age, on a lot of things. But when I used to hack as a teenager, or a lot of the people we interviewed, when we asked them, okay, you hack into a box, into a target, I'd say, it's a Sun Solaris. What do you do? Hey, 80% of them answered me, the first thing I do is to secure the box. So, it is ethical. I mean, if the owner is not able to secure the box, and the attacker attacking it, which is illegal, he spent his time in order to secure the box, to me is something ethical. that we can discuss about, have the different views, but it's not a bad thing as, okay, I hack into the box and I RM, RF, everything. No. Crash or damage, in fact, we asked explicitly to all of them, have you ever crashed or damaged a system? And the answer has been, it was different among all of them, all of the answers. A few of them answered, yes, it happened to me, but it was a mistake. So, for example, you try to compile an exploit, and you got some kernel sheet, and the box crashes over. Other ones answered, yes, it happened because I was testing at 0 day, and it was on a Microsoft box, and it crashed. Other ones answered me, yes, I did it intentionally because I had a battle with another hacker in the same environment. He and him hacked. So if I was not able to be the only king in the kingdom, I would prefer to ruin and delete everything. But again, the people who answered in this way were young kids. And they understood the mistakes that they did. Perception of illegality of their own actions. This was so funny. We asked to all of them, do you have the perception that everything you are doing is illegal? Yes, of course. I mean, they just don't care. I mean, hackers don't care about the laws. So again, all the time, I mentioned you, I'm an advisor at ENISA, European Security Agency. So we are the advisors that try to explain to ENISA, that explain to the European Commission and the Parliament, and eventually what we will advise them can become a law about IT security. But all the time we argue, and I tell them, hey, I think that we already have enough laws against hacking. You can enforce and do more and more and more, but hackers, they just don't care. They don't care about the laws. And I will have a slide to show you with all the answers and the profiles. The last one was the effects of the laws, the fact that some of them has been sent to jail, arrested, or the technical difficulties as a deterrent. What do I mean? A law against hacking can be a deterrent. Actually, no. As we can see, if we read all the incidents we read every day, I really don't think, I'm sorry to say, that a law would stop somebody from doing an action if he really wants to follow that action. But we asked them, hey, if you would be jailed, would you stop to hack? So this is the standard, the classic jump from hacking as a teenager to ethical hacking and then as a career. All of them answered, yes, I don't want to go to jail because I don't think I'm doing anything illegal. And again, I'm speaking about those hackers who just do hacks. I don't include the cyber crimes, so the carding, scheming, I mean, all the money phase is out of this because in this case, I don't label to them as hackers, but as criminals. It's different to me. It's really different. Anytime the money is involved. Other guys answered as, well, you know, when they arrested me, it opened my eyes and I stopped hacking and I became a good boy. Other ones, we asked them, if they arrest your best friends, your hacking partner, would you eventually stop to hack before they arrest also you? And I will ever forget a guy who answered me, if they would arrest my hacking buddy, it's because him a lemur and cooler than him, and they will not arrest me. Hackers, good people. So, the emergent profiles. I mentioned you, all the media, they just say hackers. No. For us, we have a wannabe. He's the guy that he would like to be hacker and to play these things, but it's just not able. That is not a script kiddie. A script kiddie is a little step more because he was able at the time to go to hack codes a day and download some script and tools and run it and trying to understand. To us, they are amateur. Their impact they have on the target is null or is very low. They, as a target, they attack their friends at home, the end user. They may attack a small, medium enterprise, and they always hunt for a specific security bug. I mean, they don't have anything unreleased, anything new. They just reuse something that has been created by others. Often, they don't have the idea of what they're doing, but they just think it's so cool. Third one was the word that was created by the hacking community itself in the 90s, when we were so tired to read hackers everywhere, because to us, hacker was and still is a good term, a good word. So the profile over there is the guy that he cracks into the stuff, into the boxes and targets in order to do a damage. We are entering in the category of the hobbyists. So they do it as a hobby. The impact they have, it can be from average to high, and they attack on business companies. Again, try to see this chart, which actually is the first of a long areas, not as pure gold. It's just a big picture of our environment, which is not so easy to draw. Ethical hackers, me, you, a lot of us, that we love hacking, but we do it in the ethical way. We don't break the laws. We do security research. Well, we don't break the law. Again, in some countries, US, reverse engineering is forbidden. But I think that if I'm a security researcher and I do some reverse engineering in order to find a security bug, I'm not breaking any laws. So again, it depends on where, why, who, when, and so on. But an ethical hacker, they would eventually impact on the technology and the vendor who created the technology. And then, before we enter in the professionals, I'm still among the hobbies, the one I prefer. QPS, quite paranoid and skilled hacker. This is a character that we met in some events around the world. A couple of them are my friends, are really close friends, because I just respect them and love them. I think that some of you may know some of them, but when I try to explain to the customers or to governments and politicians who the hell is the QPS, I just give as example. He's the hacker, he's the attacker who he hacked in your box, in your infrastructure. He's there. You don't know it, but he's there. Assume he's there. He's there since a long time. He's always been there. But when the attacker will have just a small feeling that you are realizing he's there, he will vanish and go away. He will leave any traces, any tracks, any logs, any bash history, anything at all, because he's quite paranoid and skilled. Why he's hacking? On necessity, depending on the needs. Maybe he needs your box because you got a Samsung Iris Enterprise 10,000 and he needs to correct something. Maybe because you are in the cloud, in the sexy cloud, and he needs again to do something. Or maybe you got a Vox VMS from the old school and he needs it because it's cool. It depends. So they don't have all the times a reason because, there is always a reason why they hack into a target, but there is not mandatory a reason why they hack you as a target. The last four, here the things change, and I have to spend some comments on it. First of all, it's professional. Do you know the difference? These guys, they don't have anything to do in their free afternoon and evening. Those guys, we love it. These guys, they do it for money. Money and money. So I think that every time money is involved, shit happens. Cyber warrior, industrial spy, government agent, military hacker. I know that you are used to hear the terms and words in 2012, but we draw this in 2004. Before the attacks from China, or the supposed attacks from China, were into public in 2005 and 6 and 7, and then every day now. Before anyone ever mentioned the word of a military hacker, before anyone mentioned the facts that governments are involved into hacking. That was in 2004 when we published everything, but we started in 2002 and 2003. So I think that we were able to get the real view of an environment that is changing so much and quickly, but at the same, it's not so easy to investigate. Obviously, we didn't expect a military hacker or an industrial spy or a government agent to answer to the questionnaires at HPP. No, obviously no. That's why we went on site at the events every time. There are some events in Asia, or I may say all around the world, where in the audience there is always a man in black, there is always some guy, some profile that you know it's around there. You know it because I'm, I have to say, able to smell it and to spot them. Chart 2 is the same profiles, but here we want to get like an ID card of the profile, of the offender ID. So we have a range of age, a slogan, a payoff, if they hack, as I told you at the beginning, in group or alone, and why, who they are attacking, and why the hell they do it. So again, a wannabe is from a 9 years old to 16 years old. The slogan, the payoff is, I would like to be a hacker, but I can't. He hacks in group to the friends. And why he do it? Because it's cool to boast and brag, because they want also to appear in the news. When I explained this slide, this chart, somebody from the audience a few times told me, Raoul is so lovely, I like it, but don't you think that the age is too young? No, because if you read the news around, I saw 6 months ago the news of a guy in US, a student at the elementary school, hacking at the professor, at the teacher, 80 years old and a half. I know the son of a ethical hacker from France, who is 11 and he does the work driving in a neighbor side around his house. So I mean, the kids of today are not like we were in the 80s or 90s. They are the digital natives. They had iPod, everything of that kind. They are always online. They know how to do things. So one important thing we noticed in hackers profiling, between 2004 and 2012, the starting age of hackers low down. At the beginning, a hacker in the 80s and 90s, it was entering in this magic world when it was from 13 to 16, 18 average, and now it low down. I have to run because I still have to tell you a ton of things, but let me see what we have here. Of course, those two guys, they do it for profit, but these two guys, they don't mandatorily do it for profit. It's for other things. It's for espionage and counter-espionage. It can be a vulnerability test on a country, on a target country. It can be in order to run an active monitoring on an enemy, on citizens of a given country. So again, I think that only on this chart, we may stay for hours and hours to analyze, to discuss, and to speak over. Those four, as I mentioned on you, we have been the first in the world to realize that some new actors were entering into the game. Yes, I told you already about it. Of course, whenever a guy like me attends some events in India, in China, and so on, I have a reason to do it because I want to understand also in those emerging countries what is really happening. India is very weird because they have, and China even more, because they have the concept that the state, a government can protect the hackers when they do some attacks to other governments and countries who actually, the media, they label as an act of cyberwar. It's not. It's a gang of hackers against other gang of hackers. It happens every day between India and Pakistan. Every day. But it is a web defacement. So if a journalist thinks that a web defacement run by a bunch of kids is an act of cyberware, oh my God, no, it's wrong. I mentioned you before that's so funny. We don't have the time to comment column 1 and 2, but the number 3, yes. They wanna be, we asked, hey, do you perceive that everything you're doing is illegal? Yes, but they will never caught me because I'm cool. Kids. Script kiddie, do you perceive that everything you do is illegal? Yes, but you know what? Actually, I don't think it's illegal to steal the password of my girlfriend because she was trying to cheat on another guy at the school. And by the way, you know, it's 3 months we are staying together. I mean, they always try to justify a reason why everything is okay. Ethical hacker, as I mentioned you before, as I told you before, from time to time, we may break some law. I'm thinking about intellectual property or reverse engineering. But for us, it's from a point of view of the moral. Morally, it can be accepted. Because we know that our goal, a goal we pursue, is a good goal. Is to enhance the security of a protocol, standard, or whatever. Quite paranoid and skilled hacker. That was so funny. Is there? They feel to be guilty because they know that they upset the security managers and the system administrators and the victims. So they feel bad for them. That actually, I think is really the character of the QPS is in this way. What else we have? Wow, yes. Let me see. I'm sorry if I brought. Okay. Then we said, okay, this is the ideal world. We have the profiles. We know who they attack. We know why. But the world is changing because when we started back in 2002 and 2004, we didn't had anonymous rules. We didn't had, or it was still only in China, the concept of a government or an army hiring hackers in order to do some black operations. So we begin to say, okay, but that profile, to who is linked? So a script kiddie, it may be linked to some hacks in town, the so-named urban hacks. And until here, I don't see anything new. It has been an evolution of the whole thing. But when you speak about the hackers and you know, or you have the feeling that they may sell their skill and knowledge to the guys from the spam environment and the phishing or black ops, this starts to change your view. Because I don't consider anymore them as hackers, as a part of the hacking environments, but as criminals, as they are. I do know, I'm sorry to say, I do know of some ethical hackers that in the day they are famous even security researchers, and in the night they do black ops. Why they do black ops? They may do black ops because it's big money. I mean, it's not about a few thousand, it's big money, or because they love their country. So from a patriotic point of view, I mean, if I am American from US, and I know my stuff, I have good money, and the government would ask me to attack on Iran, they will answer yes. Again, it's only an example. I don't want to open a diatribe on the who is hacking who. Again, a quite paranoid and skilled hacker, he may be involved in black ops. For example, when, I don't know if it happened to you, I don't know who was in the scene at the end of the 90s, but I was. And I began to receive some exoteric requests. from a country I mentioned before, like, would you be able, with your friends, to hack into Turaya? Turaya is a satellite company provider in, as I think, Saudi Arabia. And at the beginning of 2000, the U.S. intelligence was kind of sure that Al-Qaeda was communicating through Turaya. So again, think about all the profiles I tell you, a weird request, and you have the picture. A cyber warrior, actually, and we saw so many examples from a lot of countries. If you think about the famous RSA hack and other big and unexplained hacks, we had some attacks on the CNI, on the critical national infrastructures, and government attacks, and so on and so on. I have to run. I know more. This is also so fun. We asked to a part of the profiles, to 6 profiles, to 7. Hey, there are the laws against hacking, you know. It's illegal to break, it's illegal to sniff, to intercept. What's your point of view? Do you care about it? Null. No one of the profiles even care about the laws. As I mentioned you before, okay, if they arrest some other hackers, you know, would you eventually stop hacking? No. If they arrest you, would you eventually stop? A few of eyes, as I told you before. Script key ID, imagine to be a 14 years old, having with your parents, and at 6 a.m., because it always happens at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. in the morning, the police enters in your house, gangs, in this way, like Escobar in the past. And the parents are so scared. I mean, you are a teenager, a kid. Obviously, you got so scared that you will stop it. But it's only on 2 profiles, on the script kiddie and ethical hackers. Or let's say, most of the ethical hackers I know, and they are my friends, we have been arrested or we had some issues with the law in the past. And then we decided, hey, I don't want this. I don't want to wake up every time I hear a woo, 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 woo. I don't want to be a nightmare. I love my stuff. It will become my job. I will not break the rules again. And it's so common among us. What happened with HPP 2.0? As I told you before, and I gave you the big picture of the phases of the project, we didn't have any funding. So until it was up to phase 1 and 2, okay, it's our free time. But when we have to buy the database from Oracle, and to correlate, and we need hardware and software and analysts and translators, it was really hard. So now we are freeze. But there is one thing more. All of those romantic hackers we have seen in the past, they are gone, or either to say, new kids in town, new actors, they jumped on board. So we have hackers or attackers, let's say some human elements, who is dealing with governments and military and intelligence. When we started, we didn't have Anonymous and Lulz and so on. So into all the profiles I showed you, we realized we did a mistake. We messed out activism, we messed out all the cyber environment out of the holistic approach. OC, organized crime. We didn't have organized crime and the financial aspect to follow the money in order to understand who's behind a big attack, a big fraud. So, what you will see in the next, I think, couple of years, the wannabe, it will remain the same, because a wannabe is always a wannabe and will always be. But the script kiddie, they are those guys that now, I received the LOC from Anonymous and they point and click in order to launch a DDoS. Example happened on PayPal, operation PayPal, and so on. The profile number 3, we know already that they are available for hacking on demand. It's like if organized crime is outsourcing to some skilled elements a part of the dirty job. And I will tell you more in other profiles. I'm looking around, but think about Stuxnet. So boring. All of us we know it. But what does in common with Stuxnet, Flame, and Duku? All of us we know. A part of the code. Something that maybe you don't know is that it's really clear to the security researchers that if you closely analyze the code of Stuxnet, Oku, and Flame, you will see like two teams behind it. And what I know through Jartarmin is that in the world we got 4 companies, let's say factories, that they are the factories of the malware. They produce malware on demand. They are really expensive, I mean millions of dollars, but it's their job. So it's our opinion that in some of these factories of the malware, some of the profiles, number 3, number 7, number 8, they work there, or they have a contact into there. I have to run. When I'm showing you the QPS, have you ever heard about the attack in Athens, in Greece, in 2004 to Vodafone? Vodafone Greece has been hacked with a rootkit on the MSC, on the mobile switching center, on Ericsson X. So, again, if I write a rootkit for Microsoft, it's normal. For HP UX, it's cool. But for an MSC, it's not common at all. Now it's 2012. No one still knows who hacked into there, but we know why, because they've been able to intercept in real time all the incoming and outgoing voice call and text, SMS, from hundreds of targets belonging to the government, intelligence, ministry, and so on. And at that time in Greece, I were hosting the Olympic Games. So for sure, it has been an intelligence operation. For sure, it involved an actor as a QPS, as a quite iron than skilled hacker. I have to run. Industrial spy, for sure we have to explore this more and zoom more, because we still don't know who was behind the RSA hack. I mean, if you still believe in the concept of certification authority, I'm sorry, you are wrong. It's Alice in Wonderland. All of the CIA have been hacked. A few, they still don't tell you, yes, we have been hacked. How long it took to the CIO of RSA to admit, yes, we have been hacked? A couple of months. And he was forced to admit only because a couple of small clients, actually in the military contractors, they admit we are receiving attacks, and the attackers have got the token, the secure code from RSA, so they have the seeds of the key. Wow. Again, I don't think that this is something that a script kiddie is able to do. We really have to develop more the military hackers in countries where does India and China and Korea in the north and south. And we have to understand, but we really don't know where to put it, a money mule and the ignorant DDoSers. I mean, are they hackers? No. A money mule is the guy who launders the money, and he knows it or he doesn't, for the organized crime and the cybercrime in all of the phishing environments and pictures. But he's involved with hacking? No. But he's a part of our ecosystem of cybercrime? He is. So at this time, we really don't know where to classify him, but he must be there. I'm out of time. As to resume you, what is happening in the market of the days? All of you know what is a zero day. All of us, we know that every software has got a bug that will be eventually identified and exploited. In the country in the world of Alice, everything is patched and we have a new release. In the real world, in the real life, it becomes a zero day. What maybe you don't know is that a 0 day, it doesn't mandatory goes only to the black market of the cybercrime. It may go also or only to a black market of the underground, where money isn't involved. It's just another thing, is a how can I say, is a way of exchange between top hackers, because you got something, you don't want to sell it to the real bad guys, but you give it as an exchange to your buddies or friend because of something else. Still have to run. I think that you saw some articles on Forbes and so on where the Garag and other people were interviewed. It was named hoping for Odays, the hackers who sells exploits. I don't agree with the concept shown in that article, because to me the price, I think, I observed, I see, I know that actually the price of an exploit code, it depends on this plus who is buying from you. Because if you sell at 0 day to Symantec, is 1 point. If you sell the same 0 day to an intelligence agency because they want to know of the exploit in order to protect the citizens, is another amount, and region and goal and actors. If you sell the same exploit to a MOD because they want to build the Stuxnet 3.0, is again another thing, another scenario. If you want to sell the same day to the organized crime, is another thing again. And last point, again, it depends if the vulnerability is public or not. But also, if it's a vulnerability related to the operating system, is for iOS, is for Windows, for Sun Solaris or whatever, it is for Office, IDF, Flash Player, and so on, or it is on SCADA. And again, who is buying you? In this case, from here up to, and this is the reason why I jumped from profiling to 0 days. From here on, a government or military, they don't buy anymore that 0 day for you. They outsource a black op to you. So we come back again to here and here, or there. It's the end. Our goals will be to going after the bad guys. So we want to understand, to apply HPP hackers profiling also to who are the men at the top, the MO, the modus operandi, and the ISIS model, and the kingpins, and the how-to of the cybercrime. We want to understand which are the relationships and the links between organized crime and the geeks. So, is it true that organized crime in Romania, in Nigeria, in Ukraine, in Estonia, and so on, they hire and they pay some actors that they officially belong to the hacking environment in order to do nasty things? We want to understand, speaking about structure and infrastructures, which are the links, if they exist, with governments and militaries. We want to understand the new frameworks of the cash out in the money laundering, in the cybercrime. And as I told you before, we really I would like to enter in 2 countries in the world, because I know exactly where those factories are, to knock at the door and the entrance and to see who is there, to see who is writing the code, and to see who are we speaking about. Because to me, it's very clear, it's evident that there is an outsourcing of the malware all over the world. And everything I explained to you in this hour and more is funded by ourselves. All the research is independent under research. Even if all the problems we encountered, and I told you about, attacks from US and so on, we have been able to carry on the project for years and a long time. If you are a research institute, a private company or public, a government agency among the good ones, and you are interested in HPP, it's okay. It's okay for us to talk and to talk together. We really think that we created something cute and beautiful that didn't exist, and that it has a sense. So we feel we are on the right path, even after all of this time. But we realized at the same time that there is much more to do and to zoom in. If you want to contact me about HPP or how to say helping, email me at uniicred.it. If it's for other regions, securitybrokers.com. If you want to tell me something sensitive, here is the link to my IPG key, and that's it. I don't think there would be the time for the Q&A. I'm out of time, I'm so sorry, but I hope that you have been able to enjoy kind of a new way to see at all of us and all of you also. Thank you. You have a question? Whoa.
Aló. Estamos un poco atrasados, pero podemos hacer 3 preguntas. Put the translator.
Ya.
3 preguntas. ¿Alguien del público?
Hello, Raoul. I have a question about would you think or search something about cyberwar and cyber weapon oriented target of a SCADA system, and by example, like a Stuxnet is, for my point of view, is a cyber weapon. What do you think about of that, or what you searching about of that, of this kind of cyberwar and cyber weapon?
So actually, your question is, if you see students hacking, how to behave. I haven't understood because of the audio and the light. Can you repeat, please? I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't worry. That's the question is, would you think and search something about of cyberwar and cyber weapon oriented to target of a SCADA system? By example, Stuxnet. For me, it's a cyber weapon oriented to SCADA system.
Yes, we saw it. We keep on to see it, and I tell you the region. I'm a good friend to some guys like Ruben Santa Marta, the guy in Italy. Well, every time you speak about SCADA, there are like 5 in the world that they have a lot of free time and they are good. When Ruben he spoke at the Routed Con in Madrid a year ago, he released in one day 32 vulnerabilities on SCADA on a single vendor. I don't think that we have to blame the researchers. I think we have to blame the vendor of SCADA, because it's a long time. It's more than 25 years that they actually write and secure code so easy to be exploited. And there is also a region in this SCADA environment. The priority is not CIA, is AIC. So availability, integrity, eventually, and then confidentiality. As a last point, the most of the SCADA core code I've seen has been designed in the 80s and 90s, where the concepts of encryption, authentication, and so on, where the agent exists at all. But you are right. I have really a bad feeling about SCADA security, because nowadays everything is controlled by SCADA. Okay. And PLC, and it will be more and more and more, but everything is so easy to hack. So again, until the attacker is a young kid, or is a Ruben or Luigi or Yemma, and they do a disclose, kudos. When some really bad guy, the terrorist, will understand that it's so much easy, instead of to put a bomb on themselves, to hit a keyboard, is going to be bad times, really. Did I answer correctly?
Yeah, thank you very
Okay,
much.
thank you.
Pueden hacer la pregunta en español, también si quieren. ¿Alguien más?
Hola, acá, en español. Quería
Ya.
saber de qué países y de qué tipo de perfiles tuvieron más respuestas en las encuestas y por qué crees que son así, que dio ese resultado.
Okay. Okay. The most has been from EU in Europe, South America. I remember Brazil and Argentina a lot. United States and Canada. That was the highest percentage. I may say that these countries I listed out were like the 70% of the answers. But we also received a few ones from Tibet, from Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean, from Africa. In South Africa, I remember about 12 people or so. In Africa, a few. In Northern Africa, this is interesting. In Northern Africa, from 2004 to 2009, a few answers. From 2010 and 11, so in the so-called Arab Springs, more and more from Egypt to Tunisia and the countries involved in the Arab Springs. The region, I think, is because for Europeans and Americans in the north, it's normal to answer a questionnaire. It's normal to speak about hacking. In other countries, hacking is still seen like a word so exotic and to don't speak about. Also, a lot of answers from Asia, Singapore, Japan, Malaysia, Thailand, and so on. But again, the region is different, because in Asia, to be a hacker is because you are cool. So they want really to show up, to boost and brag that they are good and cool because they are hackers. So it depends on the area of the world, who answered you and why, and the reasons why.
Listo, última pregunta. ¿Nadie? Bueno, le damos las gracias entonces a Raúl.
Okay.
Muchas gracias,
Thank
Raúl.
you again.
Voy a dar unos cortitos avisos de utilidad pública. Bueno, ya saben lo de los baños. Están reparando el cine, así que parece un baño de campamento. No se asusten si van entrando y hay una mujer, porque están separados ahí mismo. Están los dos baños en el mismo baño. Las poleras, si tenemos poleras de regalo, se las vamos a dar sí como al mediodía. No queríamos generar mucho conflicto a la entrada, por eso decidimos darla más tarde. Estamos vendiendo una polera también, esta, con el calendario maya, a 5.000 pesos, y las del año pasado en 2.000. Y va a haber cerveza, no se preocupen, después de las 12. Eso. Tenemos 15 minutos de break ahora.